Good afternoon, all. Till the previous sessions, we have discussed the module 1 concepts. We will just have the summary of what all we have studied. We started this electromagnetics by the vector calculus, the basics. What is electromagnetism we have seen? What is the significance of this this electric field and the magnetic field overall, all together? What is the significance? Then electromagnetism, what is the concept all about? How many forces, fundamental forces of nature you have seen? Then we came across the vector calculus, different identities, properties we have seen, how the vectors are added, then how the laws are used, what are the different rules, then cross product, dot product, what is this del operator. We have seen all these. What is a scalar field, what is a vector field. This is all about the basics. In module 1 we started with the experimental law of Coulomb, how the experiment was conducted, then what is the statement of the Coulomb's law, then what is the equation. Then in the similar manner we have seen what is an electric field intensity, capital E, how it is related to this Coulomb's law of force, F and E. When you take a test charge, you can equate them when the test charge is equal to unity. Then we have seen the electric field expressions for three different charge distributions, field of a line charge distribution, then field due to the volume charge distribution, then field due to the sheet charge distribution. So three different distributions we have seen. And in the last session we have seen about what is electric flux, okay, and what are the conditions for the flux to exist. Some Faraday has conducted certain experiment. How he conducted the experiment, what was the setup we have seen. He has taken two concentric spheres, how he attached them, then he filled the dielectric material in between them. Then what was the outcome of that experiment, the results we have formulated. Then we have seen what is electric flux density, capital D, and some of the relations between this flux density with capital E and rho S and rho V, that is volume and sheet charge distribution. So with this we have completed module 1. Based on these, what all we have studied till now, the theory background, let's try to solve few problems on them. Okay, this is the first problem given. 2-point charges of magnitude 2 millicoulomb and -7 millicoulomb are located at places P1 and P2. Okay, what all is given, the data, the statement, try to imagine that in the form of a figure. Okay, I'll show you here. If you see, I have drawn it here. Okay, this figure what I have drawn, it is on the paper. It is a two-dimensional figure which I have drawn. But in order to understand this problem, you close your eyes, imagine a room. In a room, two charges are kept in the space. Okay, and first charge, it is at point P1. The second charge is at point P2. This is the setup in a room. You imagine your classroom. In the classroom, it is a three-dimensional structure. In that, two charges are placed in the space with point P1 and P2. This is the given statement. 2-point charges with these are the magnitudes and these are the points. Now what we have to evaluate? Instead of 2-point charges, you can imagine two people. Okay, you two people in the space of these magnitude and these points. Now what we need to calculate? The very first thing is distance between the two charges. What is the distance between those 2 points, those two people who are standing, who are in the space in your classroom? The second is we need to calculate the force. The given is a vector force. Obviously force is a vector quantity, it needs direction to be specified. So hence it is vector force on charge at P1. If person P1 is in the space, on that person, how much amount of force is being the force is applied. Okay, that is the question. Okay, So understand the question, what is to be calculated. So vector force on that person P1. P1 is first charge point. On that, how much force is being applied? And similarly, the vector force on the other charge which is placed at point P2. So these are the basic, this is the very basic kind of problem, okay? Simple calculations are not so important here. Try to imagine the scenario, the given data, try to imagine how they are situated in the space. That is important, okay? Try to imagine the things. So let's start solving the problem. For any problem, the very first thing is you have to write the given data first. That is the very first thing you have to do for all the problems. This data listing will make your work further easy. Okay, this is the first step. And if possible, not for all problems, but if possible, if it is possible to figure out whatever given situation it is in the form of diagram, please do that. That I have done it here. See, two charges are there, Q1 and Q2, placed at points P1 and P2, and I have assumed capital R as the distance between Q1 and Q2. Suffix P1 and P2 I have used to indicate these 2 points. You can either keep it or leave it, no issues. But this is helpful when we calculate the forces, because the forces are to be calculated at different points. So that time 1 and 2 are important. So either you can take R12 or R of P1, P2, no problem. But 1, 2 suffix you try to add it. Then generally, just to make the points generalized way, I have taken this as x1, y1, z1, the second point x2, y2, z2. I have indicated from the red pen. So this is the given thing, given data listing, and try to figure out the given situation in the form of a diagram. This much is over. Now coming to the first, we need to calculate the distance between the two charges. That is this capital R, its magnitude we want. What is the distance? Okay, no direction, only distance. Distance between Q1 and Q2. For that, we need to go for distance formula. You know this already. Distance formula is square root of, either you can take x1 minus x2 or x2 minus x1, doesn't matter, because anyhow it is a bracket square. So you can take x1 minus x2 or x2 minus x1, first point or second point, whatever you take first, no problem. Anyhow that negative square will go, that negative term. So make use of the distance formula. If you take minus 3 minus 4, which is minus 7 square, which is plus 7, then 2 minus 7, which is minus 5 square will be 5 square, then minus 9 plus 5, minus of minus, plus 5, which is 4 square. Okay, if you calculate this, square root of 90 you will get 49, 25 and 16. You will get root of 90, whose value is 9.486. You can cross verify. Sometimes I may get wrong because I'm using a cell phone calculator. I don't have your mathematical calculator. I don't have that thing. So I may get wrong somewhere. You can just please, whenever I'm having some calculations, cross verify and check the answers. If I'm wrong anywhere, please let me know. So this is the first part, distance formula application and finding the distance between them. See, if you see here, the units of the charges is given in coulombs, but however points are given you in general. Sometimes in the question it is mentioned in meters. Okay, if it is mentioned in meters, then when you find the distance between the charges, whatever answer you get, you put that in meters. Okay, that is your answer. But since in this question there's no mention of unit, okay, which whether the points are in meters or anything, So as it is not mentioned here, it is preferably it is preferable to use here. I have not done that. SI units. Okay. If it is not given, simply either put like this or better to use SIU like this. First part. Then coming to the second, we need to calculate the vector force on charge first Q1. Okay. Charge Q1 at P1. Now tell me, on charge Q1, force exists because of what? Because of the existence of the other charge, only that force exists, right? So this question is actually like this: vector force on charge Q1 at point P1 continuation is due to Q2, because there are only two charges mentioned in the question. So charge, whichever charge, Q1 charge, if some force exists on that, that force is because of the presence of Q2 only. So similarly, the question is continued. It is understood like this: due to the other charge, the force exists. Because if there is only one charge where the force exists, there is no force, self. But the other repulsive or attractive force, it depends on what kind of charge the other is having. Okay. So tell me what kind of force exists here. Look at the question and tell me what kind of charge, the force exists here. Attractive. Very good, Tayyaba. Attractive. Sana. Very nice. Very good. Because if you see the signs of both the charges, one is positive, the other one is negative. So obviously opposite charges, they attract. So the force will be attractive kind of force. Okay. So the second thing, we'll have to calculate the force. So let's go for that. The force exerted on the charge Q1 at P1, I will assume that as F1. Charge Q1, so force is F1. So how the Coulomb's law is defined? It is 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by whatever distance the between Q1 Q2 it is there, that distance square into the unit vector. Okay. Now this is very important. Taking this unit vector is important in both the sub questions. So let's see how it is done. What I have done here, I have redrawn the structure, the situation. There is a charge Q1 and Q2. There exists a distance between these two, say R P1, P2. Now, the direction of the force and the unit vector, that both the directions will be same. We have studied this while dealing with the Coulomb's law. When we were dealing with this Coulomb's law in theory part, we have seen whatever unit vector's direction is defined, the same direction will be continued by the force. Fine. So it is important now to decide what is the direction. For that, what I have taken some origin point, a common point, okay, and check the distance between these two, so that for this triangle I can apply the vector algebra. Okay, addition I can find out. If you see, the direction of this is in this way, the direction of the other position vector small r2, it is in this way. So applying the applying the law, we want the force on charge Q1. So on a charge Q1, it is because of charge Q2. That's why I will not take in this manner, okay, because this is not applying any force. Q2 is applying force on Q1, okay. The charge Q1, it will experience certain force because of charge Q1. So the direction is in this manner. Hence, if this direction, R2's direction is this in this way, and this is in opposite like that. So I will take the continuity, a triangle like this in this direction, because force on Q1, it is because of Q2. Hence, the direction is in this way. So, considering the direction is very important for AR1. That is the unit vector for force 1. Once this direction is known to you, so just extend that line and the same direction is applicable for force also. Now from this triangle, now let's continue. In this, Q1 and Q2 are given to you in the problem. This value you know, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value, you know it already. Now position vector, this magnitude you have calculated here in the first sub question. You have calculated what is the magnitude, 9.486, that you have already calculated. The unknown thing is this only. Now for any unit vector, what is the formula to find the unit vector? We have seen this, the basics. So unit vector is given by the position vector divided by its magnitude. So this is the formula which we use. I think Faika had asked this question to me, how to find the unit vector. So this is the formula for any vector, unit vector. It is given by its position vector divided by the magnitude of the position vector. Now, how to find the position vector? This. For that, you apply the triangle vector algebra addition rule. Check two similar directions. This is like this, going out from O. This is also going out from O. If you check the continuity, these two are continuing in the direction. So consider this one and this one. Both have the same direction, but R1 is having the opposite direction. So what I will do, this RP1, P2, one value, and R2, both I will add, is equal to the third one, that is R1. This is the vector addition, triangle rule. Okay. So two vectors is equal to the third vector. So according to this, what we want from the unit vector formula, we want this RP1, P2. So how to find RP1, P2 here? From the triangle rule, we have, this is plus, okay, plus, how to find this? This is equal to R1 minus R2, okay. That's why I have written here, just a second, I'll show you. Okay, it is R1 minus R2. What is R1? R1 is,
Madam.
Yes, any doubt? You can ask me if you have any doubt. If you see this figure, I have generally taken x2, y2, z2, x1, y1, z1. So let me take those points here. So this point is x2, y2 and z2 for charge q2. And similarly for charge q1, I have taken x1, y1 and z1. So if you want to calculate this R2, again apply the distance formula. Again it is like x2, y2, z2 only, because the origin O point, it has the points, the magnitudes are 0, 0, 0. Because of that, so nothing to be taken. Can simply take x2, y2 and z2. Yeah, in the unit vector, this position vector we need to calculate. For that, I have taken these x1, y1, z1 and x2, y2, z2 points. So if I choose those 2 points, see here, how to find this position vector. So position vector is R1 minus R2. What is R1 points? Here only I can show you. R1 points are these. That is for charge Q1, these are the points. For R2, that is Q2, these are the points. So R1 minus R2 means x1 minus x2, y1 minus y2, z1 minus z2. Okay, because the suffix says here, observe, the suffix is R1 positions points to be subtracted by R2 position points. So what is R1? It is the distance for Q1. And what is R2? It is the distance for Q2. And Q1 and Q2 points already we have seen here in general. You can directly subtract, no issues, but just I'm generalizing the things so that For any kind of problems, you can apply this general rule. Remember, when it is the suffix says it is R1 minus R2, it means you have to subtract like this. Okay. Suppose in the next course you will see that you will come across R2 minus R1. That time you should take in this direction, the points to be subtracted in this way. Okay. Suffix are very important. As it is R1 minus R2, so you have to subtract x1 minus x2, first point minus second point. That in x direction, because it is x coordinate, then y1 minus y2, it is in y direction, y coordinate, z1 minus z2. Remember, these directions are very important because the suffix is r1 minus r2. And how we got this? Through this equation. How we got this equation? Through the application of vector addition rule for this triangle. Okay. So I hope you understood why it is x1 minus x2, why not x2 minus x1? Because the suffixes are r1 minus r2, subtract first point minus the second point. So in all three directions, if you subtract, and ax, ay, az are those a caps, the unit vectors in x, y and z directions. So if you write like this, this will give you the position vector. Remember, this is different. This is the magnitude of this position vector. So when you're talking about vector, it should have these directions. Directions are important. You can't say 9.486 is a vector. It is not. It is a magnitude of the distance between two charges. But position vector, it is given by, you subtract the coordinates of x, y and z and keep those in ax, ay and az directions. That will give you the position vector numerator. This one. Okay. Then AR cap is given by what? The position vector divided by its magnitude. Magnitude we have just now calculated, 9.486. That equation I have written here. You can directly use, no problem. But the same, whatever formula we have used, that formula I have written in general. Okay. In the next step, what you do? You go for point subtraction. What is x1 minus x2? x1 minus x2. 4 minus of minus 3, which is 7. If you just see here, in the distance vector formula, in the distance formula, when we used x2 minus x1, it was minus 3 minus 4, which was actually minus 7. But while calculating these magnitudes, these signs never matter because you are having square there. As it is having square, these signs doesn't matter whether it is negative or positive while calculating the magnitude. But when you are using the vector, okay, those negative signs are very important. So make sure that when you're subtracting r1 minus r2, you subtract 4 minus of minus 3. If you simply instead of making x1 minus x2, if you take x2 minus x1, what a blunder will happen? You will be like this, minus 3 minus 4, which is minus 7. If you subtract x1 minus x2, you will get 4 minus of minus 3, which is equal to plus 7. No doubt magnitudes are same, but directions are opposite, which will make a big disaster, which will be a big blunder. So don't do that. Hence, these suffixes are very important. Based on the suffixes, you need to subtract the coordinates. Once you do that, 4 minus of minus 3, which is equal to 7. Then 7 minus 2, which is 5. Then minus 5 minus of minus 9, which is plus 4. Okay, in AX, AY and AZ directions. You simplify 7 plus 5 plus 4. Okay. If you simplify, you will get the unit vector like this. Further, what I have done, just split this denominator applicable to each term. 7 by this, then 5 divided by 9 point, that is second, then third, 4 divided by this point. I have split this complete vector into 3 different ax, ay and az directions. So this is unit vector. Now further in the force we have these many things multiplied by unit vector. So now we are able to calculate the force. So let's do that. The force F1 is given by, you can see here, 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. I have written here 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12. Charge Q1 into Q2. Here I have written 2 into 10 to the power of minus 3 millicoulomb, 10 raised to minus 3. Then Q2, which is minus 7 millicoulomb, Q1 Q2 divided by R square, the distance square, into AR1. As AR is bit bigger, let me keep it like that. I will put that at the end. Okay. So now if you solve this, if you use your calculator, if you solve this, 7 into 2 is 14, minus sign, minus 14, 10 to the power of minus 6. Here you have 10 to the power of minus 12. If it goes to the numerator, it will become plus 12. You will be having 10 to the power of plus 6. And then if you just simplify remaining all terms, I have used the calculator, I have got this much. You can simplify this, and if you try to move this point by 6, because it is 10 to the power of 6, I will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Somewhere here the point will be shifted. So that I have written here. Please cross verify. Okay. So once you get this complete answer, then substitute AR, because we have already calculated what is AR. Okay. Direction of the force. So that AR I have substituted here. And finally, whatever you have got this magnitude, the value from your calculator, apply this to each parameter. So here usage of calculator is frequent. So make sure this multiplied by this, you keep the first term, second term and third term like this. So this is your force. SI unit of force is newtons. So I have written N, capital N. This is force F1. Okay. I hope you will complete this. Let me take force F2, the second scenario. The force exerted on charge Q2 at point P2, and why this force exists? I want the force here. Okay, what is the force? To know this force, the force will be because of charge Q1. That's why if you see the unit vector direction, it is in this way. Because force exists, if it is like this, I have not done that, you write it. The force and unit vector, both directions will be same. Okay. And this force on Q2, it is because of charge Q1. So direction is like this. So again, using a triangle for simplification, what we will do, F2 is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, Q1, Q2 by the distance magnitude square into AR2. AR2 is important now. Now how to find AR2? Use the triangle origin, some common origin point, R1 and R2. As I told you, force charge Q2 पे जो है, Q2 on the charge Q2, it is due to charge Q1. Because of that, the direction should be taken in this way. Earlier it was opposite. Earlier we had taken like this. Now it is in opposite direction. So make the triangle addition. If you just check, these two are continuity, having the continuity in direction. This vector and this vector are having the continuity. So what you do, sorry, I missed it here. It should be R1. R, this P2, P1 or P1, P2, whatever, this suffix indicates the force on which charge, due to which charge. 2, 1 indicates 2 is on, 1 is due to. So this R plus R1. R plus R1 is equal to R2, the third direction, opposite direction. So if you calculate this, because unit vector is given by the position vector divided by its magnitude, and the position vector, how can we find out? It is R2 minus R1. See, just compare this force with the earlier force. Check, here it was R1 minus R2. In this case, it is R2 minus R1. Here everything gets reversed. Check, here in the unit vector calculation, you have taken first point minus second point in every x, y and z direction. Now what will happen? Here it is second point minus first point, because suffixes are R2 minus R1, 2 minus 1. So 2 is what? 2 is this, 1 is this. So x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, z2 minus z1. So 2 minus 1 will be considered. So if you do that, x2 minus x1 in x direction, y2 minus y1 in y direction, z2 minus z1 in z direction. And magnitude, that is 9.486, that value. So calculate that, use the terms x2 minus x1 minus 7, y2 minus y1 minus 5, z2 minus z1 minus 4. See, earlier all were positive. Check, all three were positive. But now if you see, the direction is completely reversed. All three are having negative directions. Further, I have simplified this and written in this form. And you can simplify further using calculator. 7 by 9 point, whatever you get, you write that. Okay. So once unit vector is known to you, use the formula for Coulomb's law. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by distance square into AR2. Simplify this. Simplify this. Whatever this magnitude, this will be coming up to this with a negative sign because it is minus 7. So negative sign. And unit vector, just now I have calculated this. I have added. And how you simplify? Multiply this term with this term. Whatever answer you get, you write it. And since all three are negative, negative into negative, you will get all three positive. Okay, positive. So this is your force F2 in newtons. Okay. Now compare both the forces. See, all three are negative. Some 1000, 700, 500. Check here. 1000, 700, 500. Magnitudes are same. Directions are opposite. So both the forces, the sign indicates they are of opposite directions. Okay. Both forces, they are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction. So we have solved the first problem. We have found out the distance between the two charges, force on first charge due to second charge, force on second charge due to first charge. The suffixes are very important. In the first diagram, this was the suffix 1 minus 2. In the second diagram, it was 2 minus 1. So I hope you understood this problem. Any doubts in this problem? Please ask me. Take this second question. You try to do it by yourself. This is a very small question. Only one force you need to calculate. A charge Q1 of 3 into 10 to the power of minus 4 coulomb is at point M. 1, 2, 3. And a charge Q2 of minus 10 to the power of minus 4. Again, two opposite charges at point N, 2, 0, 5. In a vacuum, again free space. So epsilon R, relative permittivity is equal to 1. So find the force exerted on Q2 by Q1. So here no need to go for F1 and F2. Only calculate F2. Okay. So I hope you will try this problem at least. Will you try? Anyhow, I'll be putting this question, the homework, the assignment kind of questions in Google Classroom. Please check. Please try to solve them. Okay, whatever homework I'll give you, please try to complete it, because once you start doing the problems, you will get the doubts. Those doubts will be clarified if you do the work. If you stuck up somewhere, then only you will learn. So please complete it. Please try